Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makarkadash. Shalom to the elders for preaching word cheerfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And I say shalom to the Akim out there, and this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out from RT.com as of June 28th, 2023 at the business news category, and it reads, Major recession imminent in West. HSBC reports the U.S. economy may contract as soon as this year, with Western European to follow in 2024, the bank warned. It says the U.S. is projected to enter recession in the fourth quarter of 2023. The British bank giant HSBC says on Tuesday, adding that the Western European countries would face a downturn as soon as next year, according to the mid-year outlook issues of the HSBC Asset Management Recession caution as a flashing red for many economies as stocks and bonds markets are out of sync, right? Been up and down this year. It says with fiscal and monetary policies. It says while some parts of the economy are still resilience, the balance of risk pointing to high risk of recessions risk now, with Europe lagging behind the U.S. But the Marco Treasury General aligned the bank's global chief strategist Joseph Little said in the report, our central scenario is for recession in the Western economies and a difficult, choppy outlook for markets. Little projecting, citing two reasons beyond the outlook. First, we have the rapid tightening of financial conditions that cause a downturn in the credit cycle. Second, markets do not appear to be pricing a particular pessimistic view of the world, the strategist added. And it says the warning came a week after the Bank of England BOE moves lift reached 5%, the highest in 15 years, as sticky inflation erodes the British economy. In May, the U.S. Federal Reserve announced another hike of its key interest rate, 5.25, the highest since 2007. And the time the European Central Bank, the ECB, raised the Eurozone rate to 3.75% in an attempt to curb raging inflation. Similar to the United States, because they keep on back and forth raising the interest rate to continue to tackle the inflation, even though it's been easing a little bit. They still been trying to raise the interest rate. It says despite the hawkish turn adopted by the Western regulators, the HSBC Asset Management expected the U.S. Fed to slash rates before the end of the current year, with the ECB and the following suit next year. The recession is just not going to be big enough to really purge all inflation pressure out of the system. As a result, this points to a regime of somewhat higher inflation and interest rates over the time. A little concluding. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. They have drunken, the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad, that including as well too. But definitely particular of these nations, definitely particularly nation of, just like in ancient Babylon have been a golden cup, and then made that nations are angry and mad because they've been influenced on the ways of Babylon, like the modern day like the ancient Tower of Babel, definitely from a financial standpoint. But during those times, it was kind of different. But in modern day times, this is the modern day Tower of Babel, and all the nations have drunken off the ways of Babylon, definitely from an economical standpoint. And that's why modern day Babylon having a golden cup in the Lord's hand, and may how all the nations have drunken the ways of the westernization, the economic westernization of Babylon as well too, and the westernizations of the Europe economics as well too. So that's why we've been seeing the economy and the markets and bonds been up and down, and then the increasing warnings of these banks and stuff like that been having a downturn, been crashing as well too, as it tries to recover itself back from that, And this is Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 8. Babylon hath suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take bond for her pain, if so she may be healed. Right during those ancient times in Babylon, been fallen and been destroyed spiritually. Now we see that in modern day times, the influence of ancient Babylon. Now this is modern day Babylon spiritually, the highly influence of ancient Babylon. Now so this is modern day Babylon, because you look up the word Babylon means confusion. So modern day Babylon spiritually is being destroyed. Is being destroyed spiritually. It's being destroyed economically, spiritually. And that's why we've been seeing the economy been up and down, like a balanced slope. Because there's when you had times, so I would say not too long ago, about a couple of months ago, I would say about 2.5 months ago, you had the Federal Reserve. They was gonna make an announcement, said they was gonna pause. I'd say it was about like a month ago. They said they was gonna pause the interest rate, because they've been seeing some a little improvement with the with the inflation and stuff like that. Then they said they was gonna hold from raising the interest rates, but at the same time in the near future they were still gonna raise interest rates on top of that, even though the inflation been easing a little bit, even though the economy had bounced back a little bit. But that still shows you that, the economy been up and down, mild recessions been up and down, getting closer to that point. So everything definitely been a balanced scale. But we definitely been seeing signs, especially so far this year, in the year 2023, we definitely been seeing signs of getting close to an increasing recession and closer to a mild recession. And we've been seeing the warnings of Silicon Valley Bank, PacWest Bank, and these other major banks as well too. And during the year 2023, it had, especially with the Silicon Valley Bank, it definitely affected the Asian countries and the Europe countries as well too. And it had affected the United States of these major bank companies, so they had to do like alternative rescue plans, And we've been seeing the decline of the American dollar as well too. Even though it been having some solid gains, it been bouncing back a little bit, and then it been on a decline as well too. Because keep in mind, so far this year you've been having nations turning away from the American dollar. They are been ditching the American dollar as well too. So that's another warning sign that we're getting closer and closer to a mild recession over here in Babylon, and definitely over there in the mother of Babylon as well too. you know. So we seeing prime examples of that. So we're gonna definitely gonna continue to see increases of that, definitely from an economical, westernization, economical standpoint. And this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, and verse 9. And it reads the Holy Scriptures. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go, everyone, into his own country, for her judgments reach unto heavens, and lifted up even to the sky. Right, just like ancient Babylons thought it was going to be healed. Now in modern day times, modern day Babylon spiritually, in modern day times, we would have healed Babylon. She is not healed. Right, it's not going to be healed fully, economic wise, in many different category wise as well too. But on the economical sense, everything is a up and down balanced slope. And it's been continuing, continuing to decline now, so more than ever. So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying. Of this recent news article from RT.com from Business News as of June 28, 2023, and it reads, major recession imminent in West, the HSBC reports. As it says, the U.S. economy may contract as soon as this year, with Western Europe to follow in 2024, the bank warns. So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying. I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Akarkadash. Shalom to the elders for preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim scattered to the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.